Hello, basketball families, and welcome to this year's season-ending basketball banquet. Unfortunately, we aren't able to get together tonight to do this, but put a little time into this video tonight, so hopefully, even though we can't be together, it's still an enjoyable thing to watch and a good reflection of what a great year we had this year. So let me open tonight by first giving out a few thank yous. All right. First, I'd like to thank, of course, our parents. We thank them on Parents' Night, but we can't thank them enough. This year, we had wonderful meals. We had great support from you as our fans. I mean, if you think about how our year ended, if it wasn't for our parents bringing the energy, would have been a pretty rough crowd that night. And you guys have been there to support us and to make sure it was a great season throughout, and we're so thankful for that. And of course, thankful to you for all of your time that you spent with your children throughout the years growing up and supporting them in basketball and supporting our program. I'd like to thank our players. Of course, they work hard this year. They've been great to coach. They've been very coachable. They listen. They work hard. They take any opportunity we can to get better, and they run with it. And a lot of the things that we do aren't possible unless we have kids that really buy in and give their best. And I think this group definitely did that. I'd like to thank our managers. And I'll take this moment right now to talk about all of them. Our managers this year were Annika Swanson, new to our managerial staff, but did an incredible job staying on top of everything that needs to be done. It takes a very organized, smart person, just somebody who's really skilled, and Annika does a great job with all of the tasks that are asked of her, usually getting things done without me really having to interfere at all. And that says as much as you can say about a manager. She does a great job. And then our 3 middle school boys that helped out this year, Ryer Indergan, Peyton Smith, and Derek Schwartzel. And we love having them at practice because it gives them a chance to kind of see how the varsity program works so that they can bring that to their practices as they continue to grow. And also it's great for them to join us at practice, get in drills when we need, and just make sure that we've always got the bodies we need to run all the stuff we need to do at practice. So I'm very thankful for you guys and your help this year. Thank you, managers. Our administration and our athletic director really was a pretty smooth going year for most of the part this year. I don't think we had a single snow day or reschedule. Of course, that all came to a screeching halt the last week of the year where things really got flipped topsy-turvy. And throughout that week and throughout all the times, even off-season and whatnot, our administration and our athletic director have been amazing. I really want to give a lot of thanks to Mr. Brockup and Mr. Gustafson, and of course to Carolyn. All the work that she had to do to prep that sectional semifinal week was amazing. Not knowing if we were going to play, getting fans around, all of that, and doing it all, keeping the best interests of our team at heart, and doing a lot that she can to make my job easier. I truly appreciate it, so thank you. Our bus drivers this year, Randall and Rich, did a great job, but we got to our spots without problems, so thank you guys. Our custodians and John Casey. Late nights as we're coming back, John Valber always has the door open for us, eager to know how things went. And of course, John Casey's been at this for 40-some years, and I'm really thankful for all the work that they do on our program and keeping the tradition of Monticello basketball going. This year, we got to bring back Coach Woolsey, and I was truly excited that we got to do that. It's great to have him back. It's awesome to be able to field 3 teams. I think our players benefit from having 3 coaches. I know I benefit from having a third, and having somebody like Coach Woolsey brings a lot to our staff. Basketball knowledge, a connection with the players, and just great insight. And it feels pretty awesome to get off the bus and walk in with a basketball staff and have 2 assistants with me. Still not quite to the level of some of the schools where we play, but it's great for everybody involved, and we're certainly thankful and grateful to have him. Also, assistant coach Zilke this year, back for his third year, and it's been great having him on staff. He has a passion for basketball. He has a passion for improvement, a real knowledge of the game, and the work that he's doing with the JV teams is making the successes on varsity that much easier. So very grateful for the work that he puts in with us throughout the year. And I can't thank my assistants without thanking their families. Kelly, Evan, Alex, Owen, and Emmy, thank you. And of course, Sarah, Zane, Madison, and Isaiah, thank you. We take your husbands away from you for months at a time, and it's never easy, I know, and I truly appreciate you being willing to share your dad or your spouse with us. And of course, I have to thank my wife, Dana, and my family for putting up with those things too. The stresses and tough times that go along with the season, me being gone, or just listening to me vent at different times. All the stuff we do here in Monticello couldn't be possible if I didn't have the support that I have from my family and my wife at home, and so I truly thank you for all of that, all these years. So, before we get into the varsity season, I'd like to take a little time here from Coach Woolsey and hear how the JV reserve season went and what it was like to be back for him.
Hey guys, I'm here to recap our JVR season and provide acknowledgments to the guys who came down and helped me out on the JVR end. Overall, I thought we had a great year. We got better as the year went along, grew as basketball players and young men, and that's what I love to see as a basketball coach. We fought hard in every game and really never let being shorthanded or oversized or maybe outmatched athletically ever deter us from trying to win a basketball game. I thought we did a really good job with that all year. So players, I'm not going to go through each one of you individually, but I just want to acknowledge, Colin, Tate, Ian, Nick, Jackson, and Skibby for my freshman players that played predominantly down with me on JVR and then played on JV when we couldn't schedule a third game. And then sophomores that came down were Bauman, Braden, Wade, Roofer, and Seth came down, gave us great sophomore leadership on that end as well. Came down and played hard without complaints and just came and gave your best. And that's really what we want to see out of our JVR program is, getting better and better every day, because eventually you guys are going to be leading this basketball program in the years to come. So again, thank you for the great season. Hopefully you had as much fun as I did, with our season and being part of the varsity season and on that little run we went. Looking forward to more of that in the future. Hopefully you guys are working out and staying busy here in the summer. Get a basketball in your hands, get some shots up, work on your ball handling, try to get the weight room or some push-ups or whatever it is you're doing at home to stay strong. We will see you soon. Hopefully we'll be able to get together sometime this summer. Really missing out on the no banquet. I do love food, and it would be nice to eat something without having to do the dishes after. So hopefully we can get together for something like that too in the future. Again, great season. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Next, let's hear from Coach Zilke, talk about the JV season and any comments he would like to make on the year.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to congratulate all of you players on a great season that we had on JV as well as varsity this year. First off, I'd like to thank my wife and my young kids for coming out to a lot of the games and supporting me and us coaches throughout the year. I'd also like to thank Coach Olson and Coach Woolsey for just supporting me and supporting each other as far as coaching up all you guys as the season went on. Next, I'd like to thank the parents of all the players. Thanks so much for raising good young men and supporting them throughout the season with the challenges of winning and losing and different challenges that being a basketball player is for the teenagers. So next off, I'd like to thank all you players that gave forth great effort all year. on JV, we had a great season. Just a couple highlights is we went undefeated in conference play, which is an awesome goal that we accomplished, winning over 75% of our games. So I was really proud of the way our JV boys played this year. A lot of growth from both guys that were coming up as freshmen to as well as the sophomores maturing from where they were last year. And I really appreciate the fact that even when we had some juniors come down on nights that we had JVR games as well, how they stepped up and played leadership roles to help us really improve our game and, being competitive in some really tough, high competition games. And we did very well in those instances. So I just want to say congratulations, guys, on a great year. I can't wait for next year. And hopefully we continue to improve and get better as a basketball team as a whole. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you, coaches. And now I'd like to do a little recap of our varsity season. And it's one that I'm sure that we will want to remember for a long time. What a memorable year to be a Pony. Started off with us being picked third in the conference by some publications. I think if you'd have asked any guy on the team in our program, they wouldn't have bought that for a second. And as it turned out, I think our confidence level was appropriate. Although appreciated the slight bits of extra motivation to get there. Ended this year with a 23-2 record, a conference championship. It was our first in 9 years, but our first solo conference championship in 16 years. We won a regional championship for the first time in 10 years. And we had an undefeated conference season, which this goes back in a long way. Honestly, I haven't looked that one up, but it's been a long time since we've been undefeated in our conference. Very remarkable. Along the way, we beat conference champs such as New Glarus, River Ridge, Palmyra Eagle, all Division IV schools. And throughout the year, we played, this is kind of remarkable too, we played 7 games without guys from our typical rotation this year, and with the exception of 1 game, we hardly missed a beat. And it talks to the depth of talent we have in our program, the ability to play together, the ability to understand roles, and to really make our team work. We could be very flexible in each game, and because of that, we could always put together a lineup that was competitive every night. Obviously, I think this team will be remembered for being one of the most successful we've ever had, but I'll remember other things as well. I'll remember how fun it was to watch them play and their competitive spirit. I'll remember how tight we were as a team, and how when Alex passed, it only made us tighter. I'll also remember how the community came together to support Simon, Sharon, and Henry. And they also came together to get excited about basketball again. And that's something, as a basketball lover, I love to see. Putting people in the stands and having their support. The guys felt it, the coaches felt it, the kids at school felt it. Just excited to be back to basketball, back to an excitement level that our whole community could join in. I remember seeing the team's confidence grow as they realized that, hey, we're a pretty darn good team. There are a lot of special things this year, and a few more things off my list. We started our season with 2 trips to the Kohl Center, one for a practice, which wasn't quite as intense as we had hoped, and once for a game, where we got to see Kobe King's probably biggest highlight now, maybe of his Badger career, with a nice little dunk, and a near triple-double from Nate Reavers. During our season, a few stats about our season, there were only 5 games all year out of 25, only 5 that we did not win by double digits. And of those, 13 of them were by 20 or more. And, it all seems like, we're there and we've lived it now, but if you really reflect back, there's been a long time since we've even beaten some of these teams. If you look at the list of teams that we haven't beaten in years, Barneveld, Blackhawk, Pecatonica, New Glarus, Belleville, Dodgeville, it's been a long time since we've had a win over any of those teams, and we beat them all this year. And that's a pretty big highlight, something we should be very proud of. Going up to Barneveld and not only winning up there, but sweeping all 3 levels at Barneveld this year was an exciting night. our game at River Ridge felt like a playoff game. It was exciting throughout and right down to the end. It was great to come home with a win that night. I was impressed by our team, obviously, for a number of things this year, but one thing I was impressed by was how our boys held our composure at a number of different times throughout the year. And hopefully our players see how that pays off by looking at games such as at Barneveld and against Palmyra. There are a number of different moments where teams put a run on us or the game started to get a little bit chippy, and I thought we really did a good job of handling it very well, staying resilient and coming back in tough moments. Our team dinners are always great. We ate at school, had great meals. We even had a little surprise birthday party this year for Reese, and that was a lot of fun. Both teams had their annual team dinners at the coaches' houses, and I know that my household really enjoys that. I think Mr. Zilke's does as well, and hopefully the players enjoy having the opportunity to come and get together as much as we enjoy having them. It wouldn't be a complete memory package without thinking about the last week of the season. It was an incredibly wild week. Trying to plan for Randolph, gathering around a TV on Thursday afternoon, anticipating the WIA telling us that the games were going to be canceled. And then learning that we would play, but there would be a limited number of fans, and trying to organize how the fans would be arranged and how that whole situation would work. The only word that really comes to mind is surreal. It was hard to imagine that moment. I never would have imagined that moment. And looking back, it was such a crazy week. And there's a bit of me that really is disappointed that we didn't get to enjoy that week the way it should have been. Lead up to a big game, feeling all the nerves, feeling all the excitement, but yet feeling all the focus on playing the game, and not some of the other stuff around it. But another part of me is very grateful that we got to play, and that although it didn't go the way we wanted, we have a little bit of closure there, and it will no doubt be a week and a game that we'll never forget. And that kind of moment, that kind of memory is a precious thing too. Here's a little news for you, breaking news. Once again this year, our team was named to the academic all-state team list. And this year we were second in Division 5 as a team with a team GPA of 3.53 GPA. So congratulations again, fellas. It's no real surprise that the two go hand in hand, right? Smart teams often are good teams, and I think it's reflected both on the court and in the classroom. So that's congratulations to you guys. And lastly, through it all, the incredible highs and the challenging lows, I was so impressed by how composed our boys were. It's a credit to them as a young man, and a credit to their parents and to their families for the way that they were raised. It's an awesome year, and I'm incredibly proud of all of you. At this point, I'd like to take some time and go through our varsity team. Before I begin, I do have a little surprise for each of you. For winning conference and regionals this year, all the following players will receive a champs pin and will receive a commemorative plaque for the season. So with that, let's take a look at our players this year. Evan Gunther. Evan always brings the energy, and this year we really watched him develop and learn how to harness it. I have to apologize to Evan because we don't have film from the last half of our Madison Country Day game. For somehow it froze up, and I have looked and looked and looked to replace it, and unfortunately I can't find it. So we will all have to miss out on the three-pointer that he swished in so beautifully at the end of that game. Cade Ace. Cade had a really nice year, and by the end was becoming very comfortable and competitive on the defensive end, both in games and in our practices. He's becoming a more confident leader on the court, and we really look forward to seeing Cade develop and to possibly getting a haircut. Klitsky. Blake took myself and our coaches a little bit by surprise this year. Blake did a really nice job of feeling the game and understanding how to position himself and where to get the ball when he was on the court. We put him in the forward role for kind of the first time in his basketball playing career, and he really did a nice job. And you rarely see Blake get rattled on the floor. He was able to handle some of the banging and the size and the post pretty well. And it's something we really look forward to him improving on and expanding on his game as he goes forward. This year, Blake receives his first varsity basketball letter and was voted our team's most improved player.
Sure.
Cade Femright. Cade came back to us this year, and we were really glad he did. Cade's a hard worker who gives his all in every drill and in every game. He's very coachable and a pretty funny guy. He's improved a ton as the year went on, and we're grateful that he still has another year and another season to come back and play basketball with us. This year, Cade will receive his first varsity basketball letter.
To the right now to Rupert. Drop pass.
Lucas Heiser. This year was really a big one for Lucas. We've been pushing and waiting for Lucas to let loose and just let it go out on the basketball court a little bit, because we know that he has it inside him to do so. And thankfully, as the year went on, he decided to give it a try. We watched his confidence grow in the JV games and in our practices, and we're really hopeful he keeps it rolling as he prepares for next season. This year, Lucas will receive his first varsity basketball letter. Logan Bloom. Logan's another player who really took the opportunity to grow and develop this year. Because we were able to have a freshman team, he and Cade and Lucas had the chance to be the lead dogs on the JV team from time to time, and I really think it helped with their development. You can really see Logan grow in his confidence and start to understand what things he can do well and how to manage himself on the court. Logan even gave us a boost from time to time at the varsity level, and had a really nice game this year against New Glarus, which I think is a big win for everybody in our area, so congrats for that. This year Logan will receive his first basketball letter. Rudy is our other wrestler turned baller, and after a couple of years of the coaches and his teammates trying to convince him to come back to basketball, we're glad he decided to listen. Rudy gave us a great boost in our rotation because he can play up and down anywhere in the lineup. He might put up 20 playing the post against Judah, or he might clamp down River Ridge's high-scoring guard over the final 7 minutes of the game to help us get a big road win. He gave us a boost in a lot of different ways, and is still just scratching the surface of what he's capable for playing basketball. With a year under his basketball belt, we're excited to see what he can bring back next year. Rudy this year receives his first basketball letter.
You like it?
There we go. It's only done it once.
Tristan Flanagan. Tristan is another energy guy, and one that really has improved in his role. We look to him to lock down post position and to bring some fire in the paint, and he does a great job of that. He spent a lot of time working on his game, and we recognize it, and it really has helped as he's improved a lot because of it. This year, Tristan will receive his first basketball letter, and because of his hard work, his positive attitude, his dedication to the team, he's also going to receive our Wisconsin Basketball Coach Association Team First Award.
Let's go!
Owen Ace. After getting a taste of varsity last year, Owen really approached this season with confidence, and you could see it in the way he played, and you can see it in the way he excelled this year. He was typically assigned to guard one of the better guards on the opponents, and he always did so very eagerly. He has gotten stronger attacking the hoop, and as the season went on, he became more confident shooting the basketball, which we were glad to see. We look forward to Owen continuing to grow and develop, and to having hopefully a big senior season. This year, Owen will receive his second varsity basketball letter. Peter Gustafson. At the start of the season, Coach Woolsey set the over-under on dunks for Peter this year at 11. After doing the highlights, I counted up 12. However, 2 of them did come after the whistle, so they technically don't count. So I guess if you took the under, you probably won. But either way, I think you were probably pretty entertained. It was a great year for Peter, obviously. But it was interesting. Teams geared up for him this year, and early on, that little bit of frustration maybe crept in. But as the season went on, he really learned how to manage that pressure and how to keep his calm, regardless of what opponents were throwing at him or grabbing or whatever might be happening. It was a great year for Peter, and we look forward to next year for sure. Pete earned his second varsity letter. He was also recognized as first team All-State for Division V by the Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association, and he was voted Co-Player of the Year for our conference. He also was voted Co-MVP for our team.
Get in there. Shoot it.
He was fouled.
Devin Holtz. If you had talked to Devin about basketball at any point during his high school career, the conversation probably would have come around to how he's a three-point shooter, which would have been accurate. However, after the start of the year, the threes weren't falling right away. He and I had a little conversation about, don't think so much about the threes and just think about doing all the other stuff, and the three-point shots will start falling for you. And you could see it happen. Devin dug in on defense. He was scrappy. He was handling, locking down ball handlers. He was diving on the floor for loose balls. And lo and behold, the threes started falling for him too. He had a great senior season. Devin ended up shooting an excellent 42% from the three-point line and hitting a number of big shots along the way. I was really happy for Devin that he had such an excellent senior season. He earned a captain's star, his second varsity basketball letter, and he was named honorable mention all-conference. Simon Blahoviak. Every excellent team I have ever coached has had an excellent point guard, and this year was no different. Simon brought so much to the point guard position: smarts, ball handling, rebounding, lockdown defense, game management, scoring, you name it, Simon could do it. He didn't always get the most publicity on the team, but the coaches who know basketball and the coaches we talked to throughout the season knew how important he was to our team. He's the first player I can recall coaching to ever record a triple-double, and he'll be incredibly difficult to replace, both because of the player he is and because of the young man he is. Simon receives his third varsity basketball letter, a captain's star, and was named second team All-Conference.
Get in there.
Reese Roofer. Reese has been a leader for our team since he took the floor as a starter for his first game as a freshman. He's improved his game every year, and he's always been the rock that we lean on for guidance. He loves the game of basketball, but even better, he respects it. This year he joined the prestigious 1,000 point club for Monticello basketball, finishing his career with 1,271 points. He's been through the rough times on varsity, and because of that can truly appreciate the great time we had this year. Much of our success is due to him and his senior classmates. And I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity to coach him. This year, Reese earns his 4th varsity basketball letter and a captain's star. He was recognized as honorable mention, All-State for Division V by the Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association, and voted Co-Player of the Year for our conference. He also receives our Team Leadership Award and the Team Co-MVP Award. In conclusion, it has been a great and truly memorable year for so many reasons. The wins, the heartaches, the fire truck rides, the locker room celebrations. They are what make high school basketball the greatest. We'll dearly miss our graduating seniors and the legacy that they have left on Pony basketball. I also look forward to next year, whatever that might look like. Who knows in these times? The great thing is that we have a bunch of smart, resilient young men that will be up for any challenge. It has been my pleasure to coach them and my privilege to work with such a great staff and such a great community. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you all, and see you next year.